Welcome back. In today's episode, we're diving deep into the inner workings of healing, and not just on a physical level, but on an energetic level as well. We're going to be exploring how our body already knows how to heal, and how healing is often more about remembrance and realignment than anything else. We're diving deep into the wisdom and tools that help you heal your mind, body, and soul. Whether it's chronic pain, ancestral trauma, emotional imbalances, chronic anxiety or control, human imbalances, tension, joint stiffness, you name it, you can heal it. So let's start with this idea. If you can interface with the body, and I mean really learn to listen and communicate with it, then healing becomes possible without needing drastic intervention. So often we think of healing as this big external process, something a doctor gives us, a pill might fix, a treatment performs, but the body is innately wise. It's designed to heal, and it knows how to. And when we learn how to partner with our bodies, energetically, emotionally, spiritually, somatically, we give it the chance to do what it's already wired to do. And I know that's a bold statement, but just hang in there till the end of this episode, and hopefully I can convince you that this is truly possible. Let's jump in. Becoming a co-creator with the creator is your birthright. Together, we'll journey into your deepest authenticity. Because the more you align with who you truly are, the more effortlessly you call in the life that you desire and deserve. And most importantly, the more you step into your soul's highest purpose. Welcome to the Manifestation Method podcast, your number one source for Kabbalistic manifestation. Here we combine the ancient wisdom of Kabbalah, modern psychology, and quantum physics to help you achieve real, tangible manifestation results with my proven Abra method. I'm Ayelet Polonsky, and I'm here to guide you on your journey of manifesting a life that is aligned, expansive, and deeply connected to your highest self through the sacred energetic mechanics of Kabbalistic manifestation. To learn how to use Kabbalistic manifestation to transform your life from the inside out, go to ayeletpolonsky.com or download the Manifestation Method app. Let's open the gates of manifestation together. One truth I really want you to internalize and remember is that the body is not broken. It's built to return to wholeness. Now, this is a fundamental reframe. The body is in a healed state by default. Illness, pain, imbalance, these are all deviations from that natural alignment. So healing then is not about fixing something that's broken. It's about bringing the body back to its blueprint of inherent, or we should say, authentic wellness, authentic wholeness. So it's like this. The body is a tuning fork for vitality. When it goes out of tune, we don't throw it away. We gently bring it back into harmony with its original frequency. And here's the part we rarely consider because we're not taught to think this way. Each of us carries an internal blueprint of physical, emotional, and even psychological, quote unquote, perfection. Now, okay, if the word perfection feels edgy or impossible or too high a mountain to climb, you can replace the word perfection with optimal functioning or highest alignment. You choose. But the essential idea is this. At your core, your being remembers what it means to be whole, to be in flow, to feel at ease. So whether you call it your perfect self, your divine template, your essential energetic design, or soul architecture, the key here is that it's always, always, and I mean always available. You can reference it, attune to it, and recalibrate your body and mind to match that highest alignment. And that same principle extends beyond the physical. There is an emotional harmony you can return to, or a physiological clarity that already exists within you. So healing in this context becomes a journey of resonance, of attunement, of tuning into the station or the vibration of the version of you that already knows how to thrive, how to function optimally. And this brings me to the topic of attention, because really, when it comes to healing, attention is a huge part, if not one of the biggest, right? Because healing requires presence. Full stop. All energy work, all manifestation practices, all metaphysical traditions, they all begin with attention training. So I invite yourself to ask yourself, where is my attention now? Do I own my attention? Am I able to direct it? Am I the one choosing what I'm focusing on? Or is my attention being hijacked by a loop, a trigger, a television screen, or a telephone? This is the foundation, because attention is not neutral, and that's a fundamental principle. I always say, where attention goes, energy flows. It's simple but profound. When your attention is scattered, so is your energy. When your attention is unconscious, your energy is also unconscious. But once you consciously attend to something, your energy begins to reorganize itself around that central point. So try this with your body. Right now, put your attention on your left knee. Really drop into it. What do you notice there? With your attention on your left knee, do you notice perhaps tingling, pressure, a sense of warmth? That awareness that you are placing on your left knee, that awareness alone is healing energy. Your attention brings circulation, activation, and intelligence, divine intelligence, to that area of your body. It's like turning on the lights in a room you didn't realize had been dark. And it's not just a metaphor. Your body literally, physically responds to attention. Where your mind goes, energy flows. When you set your attention on a certain part of your body, and athletes have known this for a long time, when they bodybuild, they'll focus their attention on the specific part of the body that they're working out, right? Because they know that when they focus their attention on, let's say, their bicep, because they're doing bicep curls, that attention alone will increase blood flow to that area. The neural activity shifts. The cells begin to communicate differently when you send attention to that part of your body. And here's the wild part. Your body has way more intelligence than your thinking mind. According to Bruce Lipton, in his book, The Honeymoon Effect, he says that the unconscious body-mind, right, the body processes about 40 million nerve impulses per second. Whereas in contrast, your cognitive brain processes only about 40. The body, 4 million. The cognitive brain, 40. That means your body is doing a million things at once per second and doing them extraordinarily well, while your mind is caught up in deciding what to eat for lunch, or spiraling over a text message, or did I feed my dog? And this is why the body must be your partner in healing. The cognitive mind can be the conductor, and it's a very important and crucial conductor, but it doesn't play the instrument. It can guide the instrument, but it's not in charge. Your body is. And when you begin to work with the body rather than override it, which I think most people are doing, right? You unlock access to an intelligence that is far more ancient, wise, and responsive than your thinking mind. And so let's drop into something really foundational here, right? Something I come back to again and again in my own embodiment practice, and that is our bones, the bones of our body, right? There's something so simple yet profound about placing your attention inside your bones, right? And if you think about it practically, your bones are literally the central structure of your entire body, right? The spine, which is the long, or not the spine, the long bones in your legs and arms, the pelvis, the ribs, they are the core architecture around which everything else organizes itself. So when I bring my awareness to my bones, my attention naturally recenters itself. It's like I return to the center line of my being. I become present. I can feel my own core, right? And this actually reminds me of something beautiful from when I was living in India during those years. I used to do this powerful movement practice. It involved shaking, dancing, moving my body ecstatically. And all the while shaking my body, we would be tuning in, not to our muscles or to our outer body, but visualizing the bones in our body. So imagine dancing from your bones. Imagine the movement of your bones while your body is moving itself, right? Visualizing the skeleton as you move, feeling the sacred geometry of your own inner framework in motion. It was wild and holy and very freeing. And it anchored me into this deep ancient part of myself that I could feel somatically in an embodied way bring so much healing to my own physical architecture. And that's the magic of the bones. They connect us to time, they connect us to lineage, to structure, to essence. Even the word in Hebrew, matter of fact, for bone is etzem. And etzem translates to the essence of all things, right? And we know that Hebrew is a sacred language. And so if we even just perceive it as, oh, my bones in Hebrew translates to etzem, which means essence, then the bones must be the essence of my being, or somehow connected to my essence in terms of structure, right? Obviously, the soul is our essence, but we're talking about the more 3D physicality here. And so when I attend to the essence that lives inside of my bones, right, especially my spine, which is alive and full of neural networks that sends information constantly to the rest of my being and to the world, then I feel a shift when my attention goes there. It's almost like I plug back into myself. I come home. The noise settles. There's clarity, because here's the thing. Our essence is what shaped our form in the first place. Essence is the intelligence that formed this body, that called matter into structure. So when I attune to the bones, I'm really listening for that original blueprint, the essence of who I am underneath all of the conditioning. And then there's connecting to the earth, right? Another form of just nature healing, natural healing without medicine. Or I would say that earth is medicine. And if you haven't seen the documentary on YouTube called Earthing, it's free. I recommend it. You will learn about a lot of science that backs up what I'm about to share here. So, earthing. Every morning, my husband and I step into our backyard with our kids barefoot. At least when the weather's nice. When it's winter, I have a hard time. But every opportunity we get into our backyard and we plant our bare feet on the bare ground and we press our feet into the soil. Yeah, and sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's dewy, sometimes it's warm, wet, soft, and we just stand there together receiving. We are essentially letting the electromagnetic current of the earth move into us. This is called grounding, and it's not just some spiritual ritual. It's deeply physiological. If you think about it, the earth has its own pulse, its own rhythm, its own electricity, its own natural frequency. And when we allow our bare skin to connect with it, our nervous system gets the message, you are safe. You are supported. You're home. I mean, think about it. We are not separate from the earth. We don't live in bubbles that surround us, that separate us from the earth. We come from the earth. We go back to the earth. We are one with the earth. We are not separate. So when we can wrap our mind around that, then we can start to believe that when we connect to the essence of the earth, which is really a part of who we are, right? In fact, in Hebrew, the word for man or person is Adam, and Adama is earth. Right? And so when we're connecting back to the earth, then we start to understand that the earth can heal us of so many ailments because we're coming back to our essential self. And from that place, inflammation starts to drop, cortisol levels shift. The body remembers that it belongs to this ball that has natural healing properties. And there's a principle in energy work that I hold as, like a religious belief almost. And that is that you can only hold as much energy as you're able to ground. I heard this once on a podcast, or I read it in a book, and I remember thinking to myself, whoa, that resonates as true. You can only hold as much energy as you can ground. So it's like if you think about electricity, right? Ask any electrician why in an electrical box in your home, there's a wire that's known as the ground wire, and it's connected to the ground, right? And without this electrical wire that connects literally into the earth, without that grounding wire, the system blows. They fry. So learning to offload energy into the ground is crucial. But equally so, learning to receive energy from the ground is life-giving. So there's an energy exchange happening always between us and the earth, right? She absorbs what we no longer need and offers us what we do. It's pure alchemy. It's transmutation. But it's up to us to say yes to that relationship, to tune into it, to consciously attend to it. And when we do, we become more energized, more balanced, more resourced. And again, remember, our bodies are not separate from the earth, right? We're porous beings. We're relational beings. We're interdependent. We are dependent on everything that surrounds us. The trees, the earth, the rivers, the bees, the other humans. And when we bring our attention to that living current of the earth, we can actually feel more vitality, more aliveness, more grounded presence in our being. So here's the practice to get you started on your healing journey. And I'm gonna expand and keep going into other practices and tips and tools. But for now, let's sum up what we've already covered. And that is drop your awareness into your bones. Feel the essence of you living inside that sacred architecture. Plug into the earth, bare feet on the ground. Breathe, receive, offload what doesn't belong, and call up what you need. Clear your space. And if you want to take this up a notch to the next level, dance, visualizing your bone ecstatically while barefoot on the earth. 2 for 1 deal. Okay, so let's take this one step further. We are all designed for regeneration. Every cell in your body carries a kind of divine intelligence. So if you think about it, if you cut your finger, let's say, right, your body doesn't need instructions. There's a divine intelligence at play. It just begins healing on its own, right? Or source, God, begins healing your body for you. Call it what you will. Our bodies know how to heal itself. And that same wisdom applies to your emotional, energetic, and spiritual layers, right? But more often than not, or I'd say often, that natural process gets interrupted or disrupted. Not because the body's broken, but because it's carrying energy that is not yours. It doesn't belong to you, right? As human beings, as electromagnetic, alive beings, we're constantly in energetic exchange with the world, with people, places, and even ancestral memories, whether we're conscious of them or not. And so over time, we absorb things. We absorb the weight of someone else's expectations, the unspoken emotional labor of family systems, the collective fear in the air, right? Sometimes we're even walking around holding ancestral or karmic burdens that were never meant to be ours to begin with. Or not that they were never meant to be ours, because if we're holding them, then we're holding them for a reason. But they didn't belong to us, or they don't essentially belong to us, right? And so here's the key truth. If it's not your essence, it's not yours to carry. And if you are carrying it, it's pulling your energy out of alignment with your soul's signature. So for example, you might feel tired and not know why, or foggy, anxious, disconnected from your joy or intuition. And that's often a sign that your energy is scattered, that your life force is tangled up in stories, attachments, or dynamics that don't match who you really are. And so to heal, we must return to our essence, right? That means clearing what's not yours and calling your energy back home to yourself. Okay, so some ways that you can do this, some ways that you can clear what's not yours and call your energy back home is, for example, using a Kabbalistic practice. Think of your name, right? In Kabbalistic wisdom, your name is not just a label, it's a doorway to your soul. And every name carries a unique resonance or a vibrational frequency that corresponds to the essence of the soul that it belongs to. So whether or not you've liked your name in the past, the name you were given, right, especially in Hebrew or your soul's native tongue, but really anybody, whatever name you were given, holds the energetic code of you. And when spoken with intention, your name becomes a kind of tuning fork. It brings your scattered energy back into resonance with your true self. So one powerful practice is this. Say your name out loud, slowly, repeatedly, with reverence, and let the sound of your name wash over you. Feel how it moves through your body. And you can say, I call all of my energy back to, let's say, Ayelet Rachel now. Anything that is not of Ayelet Rachel, I release and return to where it belongs. This practice anchors you. It clears interference. It reminds your body of who you really are. Because through the doorway of your name, through its unique tone and frequency, you can feel the boundary between what is you and what is not you. Right? And so some people are more visual and can perceive their essence as a color or a light. Others, like me, experience my essence is more of like a feeling, an attunement, a resonance, kind of like an inner vibration or a hum. And so, however you perceive it, your essence has a signature. And that resonance should be the only true organizing principle of your body. And when you're living from that resonance, from the truth of your essence, then anything that doesn't match simply begins to fall away. And that's the power of energetic alignment. Right? Now, some other ways to clear what's not yours and call your essential energy back to self is energetic cord cutting. I have a whole episode where I guide you step by step. I talk about the power of cord cutting, the effectiveness of it, and an actual ritual that you can do to start the cord cutting practice. So energetic cord cutting is where you essentially visualize gently releasing cords that tie you to other people's energy, right? Another thing you can do is salt baths or water rituals, right? Water is such a powerful frequency. I mean, it's essential. It's an essential element, and water literally draws energy out. So when I'm feeling like, let's say I've held space for a big group of people for many, many hours, and I've, done energy work, or there's a lot of energy moving in that space, sometimes I can feel a little bit depleted at the end. And so when I'm feeling depleted, I know that there was some sort of blending of energetics and that maybe I've taken on something that's not mine. So right away, I'll do a salt bath ritual. I'll use all sorts of sea salt and herbs, essential oils, Epsom salt. And while I'm taking that bath, I'll visualize releasing anything that doesn't belong. Another powerful practice can be movement with sound. So again, shaking, dancing, singing, moaning, humming, right? Sound and motion help to dislodge stuck energy and restore flow. And then, of course, there's breath work, right? Just let your breath, again, your breath is essentially another big part of the essence of who you are, right? God breathed the essence of our being into us, and we were created, right? And so allowing God's breath to breathe through you can start the reorganization process, right? Every inhale calls your energy home, while every exhale releases interference. Another thing that I've actually recently started doing just in the last year or two, believe it or not, is ancestral dialogue. I speak to my ancestors. I say things like, I honor your pain, but I no longer carry it. I return to myself, whole and sovereign. And that's also very powerful. It's in a sense, it is kind of like a cord cutting practice, but it's more direct, it's more directed to your ancestors. And so when you clear out what isn't yours and you live from your true essence, you become a magnet for alignment, right? Your body, your intuition, your creativity, all of it begins to regenerate and reorganize around your soul's frequency. So much of this work is not about becoming someone new. That is not what I teach. I don't tell anyone that this work is about becoming someone you're not, right? It's essentially about coming back to who you've always been at the essence of your being, right? And then there's this deeper layer that so many of us come into contact with, especially when we begin to really listen to our bodies and sit in stillness with our inner world, right? And even when it comes to emotions that arise, like fear, right? Or unprocessed rage, anger, right? And sometimes you think to yourself, is this even mine? right? And that's a very important question to start asking oneself on the healing journey, right? It's that moment where we begin to distinguish what belongs to me and what doesn't, right? Not everything that lives in your body is yours to process, right? Some of it, the anxiety, the hyper awareness or hyper vigilance, the constriction, the overwhelm, it's unmetabolized energy. Yes, but it's not always of your making. Sometimes the anxiety is stored in your nervous system, but it's not born from your soul. And that's an important distinction to make. Okay, so let's take fear, for example, because I think that's a big one for a lot of us, right? Fear lives in the nervous system, right? And the polyvagal theory gives us a beautiful understanding of how it moves through the body. When you're in a state of fear, your body contracts, right? It prepares to protect you. So that's an intelligent response. But sometimes, and maybe often, the fear that you're feeling isn't actually yours. Maybe it's your mother's. It could be coming from your lineage. It could be cultural, collective, ancient. Right? It could have entered you through an experience you didn't consent to but were exposed to. And if that fear doesn't resonate with your name, if it doesn't hum a tune with your essence, then it's not yours. And what's not yours, you are not required to carry. You cannot process what you did not generate, right? It's like trying to digest someone else's meal. Your system just wasn't built for it. And so this is where discernment becomes a sacred skill. You might feel something rise, like a tightness in your chest, or a spike of panic, or a flood of sadness. And before assuming that it's yours to heal, take a sacred pause. My husband and I love these two words, sacred pause. Whenever we feel like we're getting worked up or ramped up or our nervous system is getting flooded, we'll stop and just say, sacred pause, right? And then I'll place a hand on my heart and I'll say my name softly and I'll say, Ayelet Rachel, does this belong to me? Does this match the truth of who I am? And if it doesn't, release it. Give it back. You don't need to know where it came from to know that it's not yours. Now, if it does belong to you, if it resonates in the core of your being, if it arose from your own lived experience and that was real, then that's different. That is yours to metabolize. That is your sacred work. And so what do you do with it when it is yours? So here's, again, the sacred pause. You don't rush it. You hold space for it. You witness it. You let the body process it in its own time. And you don't jump in to fix or solve or suppress. You breathe with it. You be with it. And through that gentle attention, which is what meditation comes to teach us, the emotion begins to soften. The system begins to settle. And the energy starts to move. Fear that's truly yours will shift once it's seen and honored, period. Fear that isn't yours will often dissolve once it's named and released. And then there's the category of energy that may not even come from this visible realm, right? Spiritual imprints, foreign energies, psychic interference, call it what you will. It doesn't matter what language you use. If it doesn't align with the signature of your soul, if it feels like it's not me, then that's what matters. It's the clarity. It's the energetic boundary. It's the returning to your center. The organizing principle of your body should be your own resonance, the frequency of you. And everything that doesn't match that, whether it's emotion, story, ancestral memory, or spiritual residue, that's all just static. You get to clear it. You get to reclaim your field. And that, to me, is what sovereignty really means. being so deeply anchored in your own essence that everything else simply falls away. And a big part of learning how to slow down and presence what you're experiencing in your system in that silence is something called creating space, right? And this notion of creating space, or this experience of creating space, began to crystallize for me also when I was living in India. And then later I understood it more deeply, or in a different way, when I lived in Israel. Because so much of the practice there, whether it was through meditation, breath, silence, or even just the way that daily life unfolded, was about creating space. And I don't just mean physical space. I mean inner spaciousness in the mind, in the breath, in the field around your body, right? So when living in India, we learned that space is sacred. And it wasn't something to rush to fill. It was something to enter with respect, something to honor, right? The culture didn't demand constant noise, fixing, striving. Instead, the invitation was to soften into the pause, to notice what arises in the silence, to give life enough space to reveal itself. It's creating space with your consciousness. For me, it also kind of looks like creating space inside my body, creating space in the field around me, so that my vessel becomes expanded and it moves to the side the things that are not mine or aren't serving me, so that I can allow for what is true and real inside of me to come to the surface, and then I have what to work with. Right. And so I began to realize, and this is something that one of my energy healers said, is that space is healing. It's the medicine most of us have forgotten, right? We're so conditioned to fill every gap with a thought, with doing, with stimulation, with stories, with action about who we are or what needs to be fixed. But the body and the soul knows how to heal when we just give it enough room to breathe. Space creates stillness. Stillness allows for deep listening. And when we listen deeply, and I mean really listen, we bring consciousness to whatever we place our attention on. And again, consciousness is not passive. Consciousness is creative. Consciousness is a manifestation mechanism. It moves energy. It reorganizes. It clears what's false and reveals what's true. Right? So in this way, space isn't empty. No, not by any means. Space is alive. Space is the fertile ground in which healing, transformation, and manifestation all take root. Right? So let's connect this to something tangible, right? I said space also creates manifestations. And so when we truly desire something, whether it's love, abundance, purpose, peace, it's not enough to just wish for it. We have to create space for it. Otherwise, there's nowhere for it to land, right? The universe doesn't pour tea into a full cup. So how do we create that space? We start with vision, with clarity, with imagination as a spiritual practice. We visualize consciously the life, the feeling, the experience we desire. And you can do this when it comes to healing your body as well. Visualize your body as already healed. And in doing so, you begin to energetically clear space in your field, in your thoughts, in your choices, to make room for that healed version of you. Right? If you're carrying old trauma or outdated beliefs or the weight of others' energy, then there's no space for your essence to fully land in your body. Healing begins the moment you create space for you to return home to you. So creating space might look like sitting in silence with no agenda, allowing whatever wants to come up to come up. It might look like letting go of relationships or roles that are too tight or causing constriction or feel toxic. It might mean saying no when your body whispers, not this, not now. It might look like, this is what I love to do, is just lying on the floor. Oh, it feels so good for me when I just lie on my floor. I can feel my whole nervous system just recalibrate itself. And all I'm doing there is focusing on my breathing. Whew, it's like an instant recalibration, right? Sometimes creating space looks like actually making space in your calendar or your home, right? It's emptying your day of unnecessary noise. It's trimming the fat. That's what creating space is. And it's not glamorous. It's not performative. It's deeply intimate, right? But it's in that emptiness that something begins to move. It's where your attention can tune inward and your energy begins to reorganize itself and your nervous system softens and your soul can start to whisper again and you become so quiet that you can actually begin to hear what your soul has to say once and for all. And what you'll notice is that when you start living with space inside of you, right? Space between your thoughts, space between your inhale and exhale, space around your reactions, you become profoundly magnetic. You begin to hold life differently. You hold yourself differently. You become a vessel. And life flows through a vessel, right? That's Kabbalah 101. You got to have a vessel and turn yourself into a vessel in order to hold the light. So when we speak of healing the body and manifesting a life that feels like soul truth, it's the same root principle, right? It's clear what's not yours, create space, turn your listening inward, and let your consciousness do the rest. Because the moment you create space, life, God, source, the creator rushes in to fill it, not with more chaos, but with what actually belongs to you. And that's the beginning of everything. So if there's one thing I want to leave you with, it's this. You have the power to heal yourself, not by forcing or fixing, but by clearing what isn't you, by calling your energy home and creating the spaciousness for your true essence to rise to the surface. Healing is not something we chase, but the opposite. It's something we remember. It happens in the stillness, in the listening, in the conscious choice to no longer carry what was never yours. And from that space, that holy, sovereign space, life begins to reorganize around the truth of who you really are. You don't need to become anything other than what you already are. You just need to create the space to return to your essence. So remember, your body is not broken. It knows how to heal. You have a perfect, optimal template within you that you can recalibrate to in any moment. Attention is your most powerful healing tool. Use it intentionally. And your body is your ally. Let it speak, let it guide, let it lead. The invitation is to become fluent in your own energetic language, to stop outsourcing your well-being to others and start tuning in. Because once you remember how to listen deeply, you'll discover that your healing was never outside of you. It was always waiting for you to return to. So thanks for joining me today. I'd love to hear what landed for you in this episode. Please DM me, share your reflections. I absolutely love hearing from my listeners. It actually gives me the fuel and the inspiration to keep sharing this information that brings me so much joy. And if this episode is an episode you think could bring healing to someone that you know or love, then please spread the love, share it with them, share it on your social media. Until next time, keep attuning, keep aligning, and keep listening. Your body has so much to say. So much love. Here's to your rising. enjoyed this episode, let's keep the conversation going inside the Manifestation Method Portal app, your #1 destination for Kabbalistic manifestation. Inside, you'll unlock the secrets of manifestation through my proven Abra method, rooted in Kabbalah, psychology, and quantum physics, designed to help you manifest real, tangible results from the inside out. Join our global community of manifestors, explore our signature courses, monthly live manifestation workshops with me, Ayelet, and access our transformational hypno activations and attunements to rewire limiting beliefs and align with your soul's purpose. The app is available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play. To sign up, head over to ayeletpolonsky.com. Becoming a co-creator with the Creator is your birthright. Let's manifest the life you desire and deserve together.